Board. All right. Welcome to this episode of the Vision Activate Her series. I'm so excited, you guys, to bring this guest with me today and just to introduce her. But before we kick things off, just welcome again, everyone. And my name is Jen Dys. I am a human design coach and marketing strategist, and I specialize in helping women get crystal clear on their next steps, whether that's shifting or tweaking their offers in their business, the clients that they serve, the messaging that they use to call people in, or just in general, taking the next right steps towards that bigger mission and purpose that they have in their life using human design. So if you're tuning in today, you're going to love this interview. I have an amazing guest with me today, a amazing mentor of mine, somebody that I truly am so excited to have with you today. Renee Hribar, sales strategist. Welcome to this show.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel the same about you. I love what you do. I love your story, and I'm just so honored to be here today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I'm so excited to have you share with the audience. Tell us a little bit about the journey you've been on, and what has brought you to where your business is at today.
Gosh, I guess that's how far back do you want to go, right? When I was a small child. So in terms of like my professional career, I started my first company in 1996. I was incorporated in my first company, and that was in Southfield, Michigan. And so I had built that office to 5 different offices in 5 different states with 300 employees. And those people were salespeople. They went out into the field. They were business to business sales reps. So I hired, trained, managed those people and their managers. And that is how I built that business over a decade of time. Our biggest clients were AT&T, Intuit, QuickBooks, Quill. It was a lot. It was a lot of big high-tech work. Then these big companies would come to me and saying, here's all my marketing. Now go sell this. And I'm like, well, what's your sales goal? They're like, just sell as many as you can. I'm like, okay. And then what's your sales process? Oh, whatever, and they said like, it's the they would point at the marketing, but that's what they were pointing at as their sales process. So they were siloing sales and marketing as the same thing. Marketing for those who are in marketing, they know that marketing is very different than sales, right? Marketing gets the attention, sales gets the signature. So I had a lot of time and a lot of experience now creating sales scripts, sales processes from lots and lots of marketing. So I see the marketing. Okay, here's what you made. Here's your sales page in this case, or here's a flyer. That's what it was back then. Here's your white paper. Okay, you're a scientist. And now how do we convey that message to somebody who needs the actual result? And that's the sales process. What do we have to do? So I did that with my sales teams. I did that. Then I had a beverage company where the scientists that were creating cherry juice with the right formulas that would help you release your body of cancer-causing materials. Can't say cancer. Okay, so we had to figure that out. And we ended up selling that company after it getting into 180 grocery stores. And then now when I came in the online space, it was all because I bought a book off Amazon for Waldorf homeschooling. And the person who wrote the book, I got on her email list because I surely downloaded something from in the book, some calendar or some resource. And I was like, the author's emailing me. I didn't realize there were broadcast emails. And then I was invited to a webinar where I learned about, if you're going to be homeschooling your kid, what if you could have a course that you could make extra money off of? And I was like, a course based on my expertise. Okay. So after like 3 webinars, I finally bought her one-on-one coaching. And her first assignment to me was go into these Facebook groups and look around and see what's happening. And I was like, there are bookkeepers and copywriters and web designers and real people and real businesses interacting. And there's a whole Facebook economy. I'm in. What do I got to do? And that was 5 years ago. So now I have courses and retreats and masterminds and programs that I work with these individuals that are selling for themselves, individual service providers. They're experts. They're certified. They know what they're doing, but selling for themselves feels hard. They work on the marketing, but they're not sure how to convert. They get a lot of referrals because they're really good at what they do, but they're not sure if that well ever runs dry, what to do. And sometimes even the referrals are like bad fits. They undercharge, they overdeliver, they burn themselves out. So my sales processes keep them protected from undercharging and feeling like this is not worth it anymore. And so that's what I get to do every day. And I love it. I get to work from anywhere anywhere there's Wi-Fi or I got a hotspot. And so I'm very excited. It's a big difference as to what I started out 5 years ago, but in a nutshell, that's what I do.
That's what you do.
That was my journey.
And it's an amazing journey because it really just the experience that you bring into the online space. And when you talked about your sales process, that was something that, from my perspective, drew me to you because it's not just systems in a box. Your sales process, the way you interact with your clients, the way you work with your students in your programs, you really try to tailor the sales process and customize it in a way that feels good to them, in a way that like works for them. It's not just a here, cross off all these, check off these boxes. It's here's how we can customize this so that it feels good to you and works for you. And that resonates with me so much.
Yes. And that's, I think, the benefit of working with somebody who has had all this sales experience versus just a coach who at the back end of her program teaches you how she sold what she did to the people that she sells to, or he. Yeah. So what fits for the person. And that, I think, is in alignment with human design, right?
Yes.
Because you can have the best strategy possible. Someone could say like, this is what I'm going to do. But if it feels out of alignment, it's not going to happen. And that's why I love what you do, because it helps the person identify what actually does feel right. I say all the time, know thyself, but they don't know themselves yet. And then I'm like, go talk to Jen and come back.
Exactly. Yes. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about is like, let's talk about like the twists and the turns and the shifts that in entrepreneurship, it's part of the journey, it's part of the process. Has there ever been a time in business in your evolution to where you are today, that you've had the strategy or the plan, but things just didn't really necessarily work out?
Oh, yes. So one of my coaches she thankfully thinks very different than me. But because of that, I was trying to emulate her in exactly the way she did things. So for example, what didn't work out this particular time, she said, you've got to have one of these low ticket, like $47 offers. And then when they go to that sales page, then they're going to get an offer to get something else for $10. And then they're going to get an offer once they almost are about to check out, an offer for something else that's like $100. And it's called an SLO, a self-liquidating offer. And I did this and I ran ads to it. And these were my stats. And I got 8,000 people on my email list in 2 weeks. And all of them, it paid me $10,000 total, but now I had 8,000 people that I could sell to. And then I went and sold them this mastermind for $1,000 a person. And I made $1 million. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'll try that. And then I was like, my brain broke because my brain does not work like that. I hired people to help me. I had hired her already. And that was one of those roads that you're like, back up, beep, beep, beep. So I have the SLO to nowhere, because it just didn't fit me, because I couldn't get my head around. I don't want to sell masses to lots of people that I'll never talk to, just to be able to sell them something else down the road. So it didn't fit me.
So after. Yes. Permission slip. Like that experience brought you like that permission slip going forward to figure out what works for you in your business. So permission slip, everybody that's listening, you don't have to, like the 37 low ticket offers, SLOs, you don't have to do that to have success.
Right. And that's just one example of those scenarios. And it's okay, right? It isn't, I'm not a failure. She's not a failure. She's not a bad coach because she taught me this. I walked in fully aware of what I wanted. And again, what I thought I wanted to get there. And it's okay to try different paths and just decide, I learned a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I want to shift a little bit now into like looking forward. We looked back a little bit, and that was so helpful for anybody that is currently working through some of those shifts and twists and turns in their business. But what are some of the bigger things that you see for yourself, for your business? Share a little bit about your bigger vision for your business or your life.
Yes. So vision is huge. Vision is huge. And when I first came in the online space, I didn't realize all the pieces that are a part of these bigger visions, making these bigger visions possible. I'd had other very traditional like brick and mortar businesses, but having like a virtual team and having, all these technology automations, very exciting, can help support a vision if we can wrap our head around it. So big vision to me is supporting 50,000 women every year in a container, a community, virtual community where, if they're crying over their steering wheel, like, oh my God, how am I going to pay for groceries? Or I can't afford the extra tutor my kid needs, or I can't afford this test that I need, this medical test that I need, or my husband needs, or my son needs, or something, right? Like, or I just want to go to Disney World, you know what I mean? Or I just want to go to Italy and see my great grandma. I don't, whatever they're crying. And I say crying in our steering wheel because that is a lot of times where women get silence, right? We're like, we dropped the kids off, we pulled into the garage, we haven't gone inside yet. The door's open, the car's off. We're not trying to, do anything crazy. But the reality is like, we're like, how am I going to make it all work? How am I going to make it all work? I've made these choices that's brought me to this point, but how do I make it all work? So the vision I have is, I've had this since the beginning, is if they meet me or any one of the people that I roll with, right? People that are in my network, like you and other smart, amazing women, that we all help each other. We're kind of like all on the bus together. Like, hey, we're going to take this little tour. So if you're here, go there. If you're not sure, if you don't know thyself, go talk to Jen. If you need automations with Airtable, go talk to Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
If you need ads, go talk to Cassandra. Like, that's the vision that I have, is that we all collectively help this community. I love attracting and building in a community, like bringing people in. I love being the kid at the front, like being like outside. Hey, come on in. It's a great place. Like, I love being the caller. Not everybody does. And that makes a great team. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
a team of entrepreneurs, not officially like we have to sign contracts, but a team, a community of people, women specifically, that are out there saying, listen, come on in. This is where the fun is. This is where some solutions might be for you. And the worst case, it's some solace to know you're not freaking alone. So my big vision is that 50,000 women a year coming into this community, feeling a breath of fresh air, that there is another way, whatever that way is.
I'm like, I like no words. Like that is an amazing vision because I resonate with it. A lot of the other women that I have been on this business journey over the last 2+ years have resonated with it, that there's one way to success. There's one strategy, one process. And
Right.
this right here, if for anybody that's listening, is if you've tried all of the things, if you tried the SLOs, if you tried the mass marketing, if you feel like you're relying too much on your mass marketing and your launches and people buying from stories and clicking the links, like working and just with your processes and your systems, you have so much more control and you empower other women through the work that you do to be able to accomplish these small things that they get to do, these small freedoms, like, yes, paying for the groceries, paying for summer camp, going to Disney World, those freedoms that they get to have. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
vision's important because that's where we're headed, right? Like, I run everything through that vision. Like back in the 80s, they were like a computer on every desk. Back when computers wouldn't fit in your house, like a computer was as big as a house. So every decision they made, since that was their vision, was about microprocessing, make it smaller. They had lots of other options. They had lots of shiny objects that that pulled their attention along the way. But because that was their vision, that was the screen, right? That was the filter. Like, does this take us closer to our vision? No or yes. And if it doesn't, do we want to adjust our vision? No or yes. And then we know what to do next.
Yes, absolutely. Powerful, powerful. So since this is a series dedicated to inspiring other women in business to take aligned action towards their vision,
Yes.
I see you as an activator for those women. Can you share with the audience your best advice in getting unstuck in any situation to keep moving forward?
Yes. So I'm sure that if you ask 100 people this question, you get
Mhm.
100 different answers. So for me, my best advice and a practice that I take is I talk to people, because and it could be email people, it could be just reaching out. Like, when we get into this funk, we tend to go in, right? I'm gonna think about it. I can work through it. I can get through it. But that's asking a lot. It's not really fair to you, honestly. And so I don't care if it's talk to your pastor, your priest, your mother, your cousin, your sister, your neighbor. Get it out, so that and even if it's writing it, journaling, right? Another thing, get it out and then talk to somebody about it. For me, because I think like a salesperson, I say, well, talk to somebody that's in your community, talk to somebody that's on your email list. Like, I say, hey, I'm doing 3 free coffee chats this month. I'd love to chat with you. And then I might ask them a couple of questions, like, so tell me more about what you've got going on. Tell me more about what you've tried. Tell me more about what you've been stuck on. And then just from that conversation, I will have validation. Oh, I was on the right track. I'll have my confidence renewed. I'm like, oh, I know more than I thought, because she doesn't even know that. And I do. And then I'll have potentially a customer. Hey, listen, everything you said, it sounds like I kind of have a solution for that. Do you want to hear what I have in mind?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my answer, but it could be lots of ways.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. Just talking to other people, that validation, that clarity, that reinforcement that I'm on the right track, I'm on the right path. Like that's exactly what you need. Very similar to the work that I do as well. Human design is just looking inward as well, trusting yourself to take those next steps going forward to get unstuck. So
absolutely. I mean, I say this a lot, is like we all hold different keys to unlock the same door.
mm-hmm.
And not everybody needs my key, or they think they do. They try like, well, maybe not yet. Hold on. This other key work. We've all been at the door of some door with a ring of keys being like, oh, this isn't. Oh, this isn't. Oh, this is the one. Hey. And sometimes it's a different key on a different day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
So we really need everybody is the point. So
yes, we all need to come together, to connect, to collaborate, and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Renee, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an amazing interview, amazing experience. Can you just tell the audience where they can go to find you, what the best way to connect with you is?
Yes. Of all the different things I have going on, from retreats to events to all the things, my website, it's always a central place. That'll be the place that you can find. And it's just my name.com. So ReneeHribar.com. And there's an H in there somewhere, but good luck.
And I will link that in the notes that come with this interview. So you guys will be able to click on that and find Renee super easily and connect with her. Reach out, connect. She's amazing. You need more of her in your life. So
thank you.
Thank
right
you. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will tune in next time on the next episode of the Vision Activator interview series. All right. Bye, everyone.